What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Davidson's Kitchen. Today we're going to be making a BLT pasta salad. This is probably my favorite extremely simple dish to make. I'm typically making this for pool parties and barbecues and Sunday dinners as a little appetizer for people to pick at. It's very, very simple. There's only a few steps, very little ingredients, and it is always absolutely delicious. So let's not drag this on anymore. Let's jump right into the recipe. Thanks so much. The first thing we're gonna do here is get our water coming up to a boil, and then we're gonna add some salt into it. Don't go light with this salt. You want it salty like the ocean. You're gonna add in your pasta here. I'm using bowtie pasta, but you could follow this recipe. Whatever type of pasta you have in your pantry works. It doesn't really matter. I just like the bowtie pasta. And make sure you boil this pasta slightly less than the suggestion on the box. The reason I say that is you're gonna want this a little more firm because it'll just taste much, much better than it would if it was a soft pasta like you would maybe want in a red sauce. So just keep it a little more firm. Read the box depending on the type of pasta you're using. Now that the pasta's done, we're gonna go ahead and set that in our strainer. We're gonna let it dry very, very well and let it cool. You do not want any water on this because then the mayo and the dressing will not stick to it very well. As that's draining and cooling, we're gonna go ahead and start cooking our bacon. I'm using 8 ounces here. I may have gone a little over, but if you love bacon, you could definitely do more. And if you don't like bacon as much, or if you want to keep it more vegetarian, then just don't put any in there. I just really like it, so I'm using about 8 or 9 ounces of it. As our bacon's cooking, what we're gonna do is we're gonna start our dressing. So this will consist of 3/4 cup of mayo, 1/4 cup of ranch dressing, and then we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. And then salt and pepper you can do to taste. I did about 1/2 teaspoon of each. And then you're just gonna mix it up really, really, really good and set it into the fridge to cool off. Next up, we're gonna start cutting up our vegetables. I'm gonna use a pint of grape tomatoes here. They are just so delicious in here and they give an extra refreshing punch to it, and it's super, super good. Once all your grape tomatoes are cut in half, add those to a mixing bowl, and then we're gonna go ahead and start chopping up our 1/4 onion. I'm not a huge onion fan, so if you are a really big onion fan, I'd maybe do 1/2 an onion. I'm just doing 1/4, and I'm gonna chop this up really fine. It does add a nice little crispy crunch to it. I think it's a very important ingredient to include even if you're not a huge onion fan. Now that we got our onions in the bowl with the tomatoes, those are diced up really nice, we're gonna go ahead and chop up our spinach. The spinach is super, super important here, and it is super, super delicious. I love spinach. Go ahead and just chop it up as much as you'd like. If you want big bites of it, just don't chop it as much. If you want it more hidden in the flavors, then dice it up really fine. I'm leaving it right in the middle, but dice it up as much as you'd like, and then add that into the same bowl with your other vegetables. Now that that's all completed, we're gonna go ahead, take our bacon out, either break it up with your fingers like I'm doing here, or chop it up with a knife. Whatever you gotta do, just get those into nice little bite-sized pieces, and then throw those in that bowl as well. Now that that's done, go ahead and get a large mixing bowl or sauce pot, whatever you need. Add in a little bit of your dressing on the bottom, add a little more than I did here. This will help keep it from sticking to the bottom, and then add in your box of pasta. Throw your veggies and bacon on top of that, and then add the rest of the dressing. Now let's go ahead and mix this, and please take your time with this. You gotta make sure you mix this really, really well. If for some reason it seems like you don't have enough mayo or ranch or something like that, you can add a little more of the dressing, but if you followed the steps before, you should be good to go. And then you're gonna wanna make sure you let this cool for about 10 to 15 minutes before serving. That way it's even more refreshing, especially for things like barbecues and pool parties. If it's cooled off for 15 minutes or so in the refrigerator, it will be absolutely perfect. Alright guys, that's all for today's recipe. Please subscribe and like this video, it helps me tremendously as this is a brand new channel, and I'll be continuing to post new recipes and meal preps every single week. Thanks so much.